Before you freak out based on the title of the video alone, you have to hear me out. There's a lot that's happened in the last few days that you may not know about yet. In this video, we're going to talk about the future of Modern based on WotC's recent announcement. So strap in and get ready for the ride of your lives. This is not going to be pretty. This past Thursday, Wizards of the Coast released a news article announcing the return of Nationals and some changes to the Grand Prix circuit. Now, normally this would be a great article. Nationals were super cool, and I, along with hundreds of thousands of others, are really excited that the event is back. Unfortunately, the great news about Nationals was completely overshadowed by a few of WotC's other announcements. The first announcement: all national events will be standard, no exceptions. The constructed portion of the World Magic Cup last year was Team Unified Modern. It brought a lot of attention to the format, and even though most players obviously couldn't play in the tournament itself, thousands paid attention to both coverage and results. The second big announcement: the end of in-store Grand Prix Trials. Doing away with them completely. You can still participate in Grand Prix Trials at Grand Prix before the event starts, but if you were someone who enjoyed participating in Grand Prix Trials at your local game store, yeah, they're gone for good. So what does this all mean, and why does it spell the end of Modern? Let me explain. With the removal of Modern from Nationals and the World Magic Cup, that effectively removes Modern from all Tier 1 Premier events. With the removal of in-store Grand Prix Trials, that removes Modern from all in-store Premier level events. What this means is that Wizards is prioritizing standard and limited coverage so much so that they're choking Modern right out of high-level tournament play. And don't take my word for it. This is a direct quote from the article. Listen very carefully to how this is worded. Quote, "Last year, we ran the constructed portion of the World Magic Cup as Team Unified Modern and made updates to the Unified Constructed rules. While we liked what the change to Unified Constructed did, the feedback and results of Modern being the constructed format of choice was mixed." Now, this is the part to really listen to. Quote, "Based on this feedback and combined with the fact that we are looking at ways to highlight more current formats, i.e. formats based on current sets and accessible to all, we will be making the change back to standard as the constructed format that will be supported by the 2017 World Magic Cup." There is literally one way to interpret this: Wizards is abandoning Modern. That may sound hyperbolic, but it's not. They straight up just said that they're looking for ways to highlight more quote-unquote current formats. They used the word current, then immediately said Modern wasn't accessible to all. This is the exact same kind of language used when Legacy was first getting the axe. The situations are scarily mirrored. It's nearly the same thing over again. At this point, I'm sure many of you, especially the Modern fans, are still not worried about Modern. You get to play it at your local game store, and there's always a good turnout, right? The format's totally healthy at your store and you don't see a problem. See, it's that kind of thinking that is precisely the issue here. There's a cycle in competitive gaming, and this isn't specific to Magic or Pokemon or TCGs in general. It's almost universally applicable. The company who makes something shines a light on what they want you to see. So new players, established players, all players see standard because that's what Wizards wants you to see. Which means more players are picking up standard, asking questions about standard, buying standard legal sets, which in turn causes content creators to make more content about standard to keep up with the growing demand for standard, and the continued coverage of the format. If there's a standard Pro Tour, we're going to cover it. It's a Pro Tour. Because content creators cover more standard news and information, more players see more standard coverage. Take this principle, and the inverse is also true. Less coverage and official support for Modern means less new players are asking questions about it, there's less reason to make content about it, and even if you wanted to continue making Modern content, with the decrease in coverage and incentive to push the format forward, there's only a limited amount of content to make. Now, can there still be innovation in Modern, excitement in Modern? Of course there can, obviously. But the simple fact is that less and less eyes will be on Modern as time goes on, and the format will experience the slow burn of tournament-level death that Legacy felt. If you love Modern, I'm not saying that your format is dead the second, but I am saying that it is doomed if the current policy isn't amended. As someone who manages a relatively large community, I can tell you with absolute certainty the formats that get the most coverage, require the most attention, are requested the most, and viewed the most. You can hate Standard and love Modern as much as you want, but with Magic experiencing its 8th straight year of growth, they're doing something right, and the gradual decrease in Modern coverage doesn't seem to be hurting their bottom line. So like it or not, more players care about Standard and Limited than about Modern. And with less and less coverage, there's less and less incentive to invest in a format where the most popular card is an $11 uncommon, the most popular creature is almost $100 each, and one of the most popular lands is still $70 a piece without a reprint. So why are they doing this? Why are they backing away from Modern, a format they created to replace Extended and appease players who wanted something a bit more long-term than Standard? They're doing this because non-rotating formats are bad for business. Look at it this way. Modern Masters 2017 is coming out in a month, right? Even with that, they chose to make this announcement. That's how little Modern matters to them on a premier level scale. Modern Masters 2017 is still going to sell. They advertise it as a set designed for drafting. It's still going to sell. And they're so confident in that, they don't even bother waiting for an announcement like this until after the set's out. Alright, here's a hard truth and something I hate to admit, but I have to. Modern is relatively stale. Yes, the format is diverse. There are a ton of decks you can build. New strategies are popping up that are super fun. All of that is true, but think about it this way. Even if you take money out of it, if there were another Modern Pro Tour, or when we see another Modern Grand Prix, you know what we're going to see? Affinity, for the 5th straight year. Sure, other cool decks could be around and will be around, but Affinity isn't new. It isn't exciting. Neither is Tron, neither is Jund, or Junk, or Ban Eldrazi, or Burn, or Death Shadow Aggro. These are all interesting, cool decks, true, but after you've seen them for 2 years, 1 year, even 6 months, the numbers go down. People get bored. The simple fact is that rotation breeds creativity. With each Standard set that comes out, minus a few, new strategies emerge in Standard, or morph to fit the new cards in a dynamic and impactful way. Affinity is always Affinity, and Tron is always Tron. I don't like being the one to say this, but at the end of the day, it's all about where the money goes, right? Where the eyeballs are, and unfortunately for some of us, both are focused on Standard and Limited. I know many of you are going to disagree with me, get really angry about this, but these aren't situations I wish I had to express. I wish I could say that Modern was going to be healthy and safe and exist forever, but that just isn't true. This isn't how I feel. This is about facts, logic, and precedents. If the new policy isn't amended in some way, this is the beginning of the end for Modern. All Modern has left, 5 weeks of Grand Prix Modern coverage for the rest of the year. The entire year. 5 weeks. Let that sink in and then tell me that Modern is okay. I'm sure you all have a lot to say about everything that's going on, so please be sure to leave your thoughts below. A warning though, I know things can get heated and tempers can run high, but this community is dedicated to having civil conversation. Your opinions are all welcome, but don't be hostile, don't make personal attacks. We're all here for the same reason. We all love Magic. With that said, I hope you got something from the video, and we'll be releasing more content all weekend, so be sure to stay tuned. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. Modern may be losing ground, but you know it can never lose ground? Limited. If you enjoy drafting with your friends, now is the perfect time to grab yourself a box of Aether Revolt. At only $89 a box, you can't really beat that price anywhere else. If you're thinking about getting yourself some Magic goodness, click the link, helps the channel, you get some cheap cards, we all win. Enjoy.